Welcome to She Did It, 40 Years, 40 Stories, the EWMD podcast hosted by Simone, Lersch and Ariane Bischoff. We will talk with 40 ladies of the network about their personal networking experiences and how EWMD positively influenced their career and lives. Listen to exciting stories and get a new idea on how networking can foster your professional journey. Welcome to the 6th episode of the EWMD podcast, She Did It, 40 Years, 40 Stories. I'm very happy to have you all here today for another English episode. Our first speaker will be Beatrice Lusetti. She's actually not a EWMD member, unfortunately, but she is a key person in our association. Without her, nothing would work. Literally nothing would work. Beatrice sits in Berlin and is our key person where all the bits and pieces come together. And she has been in that position for EWMD International and EWMD Germany since 4 years already. It's lovely to have you here, Beatrice. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm very curious to hear your personal EWMD story. Please, stage is yours.
Hello everyone. Hello Ariane. Thanks so much for the invitation and for the introduction. So indeed, yes, my EWMD story is a bit different than the others because I work for the association. I'm not technically a member, even though this means that I have the privilege to be involved in almost all the projects of the network and see and have always the overview of what's going on, which is quite a lot. And I'm, of course, very happy and proud about it. So, yeah, my journey with EWMD starts in June 2020. I was probably with my previous job still in a moment of my life in which you don't know yet what you need, that you need a network, that you need a support net of people around you. And so I started, I knew some of the women here and I knew they were committed and engaged women. So I was like, I trust where I was going, let's say. And indeed, I was right because I ended up in this place which is like physical, virtual hybrid, so I don't know how to describe it, that is full of engaged, committed and inspiring women. And I would like to share with the people listening to us some like key points of my journey with the EWMD so far. The first one is that it's never too late to change your career, your lifestyle, to change what doesn't fit you anymore in a certain moment of your life. I grew up in the province and I don't know, I always had this wrong idea that life is a straight line and what you start is what you will continue. Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe certain things you continue and other they don't fit you anymore. And this can be applied to your lifestyle, to your passion, to your career, to everything. And when it's time to change, if you are not able to change alone, you can have support around you. You will meet people that help you to build your own toolbox and or lend you their own tools for the changement that you need. This idea of changing career as well is something that I saw happening around EWMD members and deeply inspired me. Also for my life, for the life of my friends. We are in our mid-30s, so like it's, okay, what now? Like, who we are, what are we doing even? So yeah, seeing women, even in their 60s, changing, still full of passion and changing their life, it's inspiring as a mid-30s, so youngish woman. And another thing I learned is that like happiness, also knowledge is more valuable and meaningful when shared. So in this network, people, they don't keep what they learn for them. They share it with others. and you create like a snowball. That's how we can change society, I think, and what inspired me with this amazing group of women.
Thank you so much, Beatrice, for your lovely look from outside into our network. You're not outside because you're always in, but still somehow an inside out perspective. And again, I can only say, without you, nothing would work. I would like to continue with Adriana Albini. Adriana is a member from Italy, but I don't recall which chapter you are from. Maybe you can share with us in a minute where your journey started. But to give a quick head start, Adriana Albini is a scientific collaborator of the Directorate of European Institute of Oncology-IEO in Milan. But she's also president-elect of EWMD Italy. She's a leader in cancer research and has a focus on tumor microenvironment and chemoprevention, and has over 390 publications in biomedical research. Impressive. I'm very curious to listen to your very personal EWMD story. Stage is yours.
Thank you for the space and for being together with other women and companions of this adventure in AWMD. I can share, how the relationship started with the association. As you mentioned, I'm a scientist, a biomedical researcher. And one of the things that made my life very international is the fact that science is universal. We all speak the same language, and molecules are molecules everywhere. So when I graduated in biochemistry, I went first to Germany, to the Max Planck Institute of Biochemistry in Munich for 3.5 years. And from then, I moved to the United States, to the capital town, to Washington, D.C., to work at the National Institute of Health. And then after another 3.5 years, I came back to Italy. So I've always had positions in Italy to organize things. And one day, the ministry told me if I wanted to start a research institute in Reggio Emilia. And I arrived there. I didn't know anybody in the town, but I was active as all the AWND people. And I got contacted by two wonderful persons. There are Paola Ligabue and Nadia Carafi, who wanted to meet me, see my laboratories, know what I was doing for research in their town. So I joined that chapter, and I'm still a member of that chapter. Although after building the research unit in Reggio Emilia, I moved to Milan. That was 10 years ago that I joined. I've always been participating to the activities, and obviously the international side is very interesting, very important. And I've always been an advocate for women careers. So that's the perfect association for me, because I realized already when I was relatively young. I came back to Italy as a lab chief when I was 32. And I realized that I was maybe one of the few, maybe the only woman lab chief in the entire institute. And so I wondered, there's something wrong because we study so much and it's difficult to get leader positions. And then I started already then, that means there are many, many, many years, to work with associations for women empowerment in science mostly, but also, AWND is on all different sides of that. Again, Paola and Nadia one day decided, when there was a time of elections, you should candidate for the presidency of Italy. And I say, I'm not as good as you are, because they are great, they are very active, and I had a lot of doubts on that. So they did an incredible campaign, and here I am. And so I'm trying to help Laura Dalè, who is our president. So I also want 30 seconds of advices that are for young women that want to work in science or technology, to just there doing it. They're still not enough in their career positions to find good mentors, to find associations like ours, to be confident in themselves, to find the courage to share their ideas and to be convincing, to be able to organize their CV, their interviews, but and not give up on any other things. I'm convinced that a woman can have a nice, work career with family, with children, with friends. Friendship is really what I think is the most important things. So I like to close thanking AWMD for such a wonderful network of people that not only work for the others, but they have fun together.
That is very true. If I can confirm one thing, it's that we have fun together. I always remember when I first became a member in EWMD in 2017, I was mind struck by the fact that dancing plays such an important role at the conferences. And I've never danced with so many women and had such a good time. And I always remember whenever we organize a conference, the first thing is, do you have a DJ? Is the DJ organized? Very cool. Thank you so much, Adriana, for your insights, not only in your lifespan and how much you have been traveling, but also how valuable EWMD is for you. I would like to continue with Maite. We are switching from Italy to Spain. Maite Valverde Elite. Maite is Talent HR Global Manager, and she is Presidenta woman in banking Spain, and she works for the Bank Santander in Madrid. What is exciting is that Maite is a member, not very long member of EWMD, and she is founding member of the new chapter of EWMD Madrid, which will also be the host of the 40th anniversary conference in October 25th to 27th in Madrid. And we are very excited to come to visit you. But today, it is all about your story, how you maybe came to EWMD, how you had your very personal experience that you like to share with us today. Please, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for this opportunity. I feel very special to be here in this podcast because it's true that European women management development is part of my life and it's part of the excitement of working together, women working together around Europe. Sorry because I'm a little bit ill these days, so my voice is not the best, but it doesn't matter. My heart is here with all of you. So my story with European women management development is something that I like to tell to everyone every time I have an opportunity, and that started 5 years ago when through a colleague in Santander, I met Paula Ligabue and Nadim. They were going to come with a delegation of 25 women to Madrid and in Barcelona to experience about the different companies in Madrid working in gender diversity. And the idea was just that they came to the financial city to visit us some minutes to know a little bit more about how Santander was working in gender diversity. And I gave them different contact to visit other companies in Madrid and in Barcelona. But finally, I thought, okay, why they are going to they have to go to different places in Madrid with the traffic and whatever. So why don't bring everyone here in the financial city and we could create an event just for these 25 impressive women. So we created an event in the morning and was the first event, the big event that Santander Women Network created in because in our short life in that moment we were just some months of life in Santander Women Network. So was impressive because we brought women from education, technology, people from Santander talking about how we were working together in gender diversity. And the most important was that in the coffee, in the break, in the coffee break, what we did was to join five, 10 women from Santander with one person of European Women Management Development and talk together in the coffee. It was an impressive morning where we were working together, we were learning together, and from there, a great friendship started with European Women Management Development. And we were working the last 5 years and talking. And last year, I went to the Torino meeting. And of course, something that I wanted to recall, I love dance. I'm a dancer. I was a dance teacher in the past. And for me was the best dance in my life, what sorority, what was impressive, the experience. And also, finally, I decided to ask all the people, all the women, to dance together in a choreography that I prepare. One I know since I am very, very, very young. And was impressive. I'm going to remember that moment for my entire life. And it's what you say, women dancing together, dancing and singing because it was live, and I say, wow, this is something I'm going to remember in my life. This is life. This is really life. So now I'm so happy, yes, that European Women Management Development is going to be in Madrid, and I'm asking all the women I know, "Well, you have to join this association. Is great. It's the biggest in Europe, the oldest in Europe. The essence is generosity. And of course, I'm so happy that finally, 5 years later, we are going to do a big event in the financial city again. So it's what is magical. This is my story, and it's part of my life also to be close to this impressive association.
Lovely. That's a wonderful story. 5 years already. I didn't realize. Maybe we start a new tradition to have a EWMD choreography that we can repeat at every conference now.
Every conference, yes, yes, it was easy, and we can have our own choreography. That's very good idea. Okay, yes, we take that. This year, I did something similar with all the women in Santander, all in all the countries for the 8th of March, and the song was "I'm Every Woman." And I asked all of them to dance different whatever they want, and we joined all the videos, and we made a 1 minute video I have to send to you. And imagine a bank, all the women dancing in all the countries, and it was very, very nice. And I did something similar with my colleagues in Madrid. We did a small one. So yes, we have to find the way to do our own choreography for European Women Management Development. 40 years is for celebrating, dancing, and make a dance for the rest of the years.
Let's talk about that. That's a lovely idea, and we have to come up with a song. This is also I think, something impressive about EWMD in my personal perspective, that it's always energetic, it's positive, but it's always creative when EWMD women come together. Beatrice mentioned the sharing, and I find that's true. The sharing, the openness, and the 1+1 makes 3. We manage to do that very often in EWMD. There's hardly situations where I feel like, ugh, we're stuck and we're not getting further. There's always a positive moving on forward. And what I think we forget too often is we all do that on a volunteer basis. The whole organization runs on a volunteer basis. And I think it's quite impressive when you look at the EWMD program, what's going on every, you could do, I think you can almost participate every day at an EWMD online session, or if you would travel around, could beam you around, you would always find something to do. I see a sign from Adriana. You wanted to join.
I wanted to share actually a Santander experience because another thing that made me travel a lot is fencing. I'm a professional fencer in the veteran. Last year, I was invited by the Spanish Federation to a competition in Santander, and I won the gold medal. And that was very nice because all the Spanish girls were, sort of helping me. And we were also singing and dancing. We had flags. And so I had a chance to visit the beautiful town and also to go to Bilbao, which is not too far, and get the famous anchovies of the Cantabric and all that area. Also, sport, I think it's a very nice thing to put together, which can make people share, friendship and experience, particularly women.
Yes, absolutely true. That also is a very strong connection. In Germany, female soccer is coming up, and that's bringing such a positive dynamic also in this typical man sportive area where things are now developing in a more diverse version of sport, and that is lovely too. We have still one speaker that I would love to join us now here in this round. We have Mihaela Celaru. She is from Italy. We go back from Spain to Italy. She's born in Romania, and she lived in Romania. She lived in Italy. She lived in Ireland. She lived in Canada, and she lived in the Netherlands. And she works now as a researcher in the Netherlands. She enjoys traveling. Obviously, if she's been around so much, she must love to travel. And she has a passion for coffee, for arts, for reading, and good wine. That's a good basis. You have a good coffee in the morning and a good wine in the evening. She has become member of EWMD in 2018, if I read correctly, and started her EWMD career in Reggio Modena chapter, and is now a board member of the EWMD International. But Mihaela, maybe you tell us what your function at EWMD is and your story of EWMD is in person. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ariane. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here. So my journey with WMD began quite unexpectedly, like all the best stories often do. It started purely by chance, when you less expected what you less expected. I remember it was Saturday morning in May 2018, and one of my good friends invited me to an event in my city, in Reggio Emilia, called Digital Females. The location was great and the company even better, so I decided to join her. That day, what impressed me the most at the event wasn't just the impressive lineup of speakers or the engaging topics, but the exceptional organization. The group of ladies who organized this event were part of an association with rather an unusual acronym, EWMD. In Italian sounds a bit strange, So intrigued with that, their professionalism and energy, I decided to do some research about them. So at that time, I was seeking female mentors, and in the end, I found my tribe. In 2020, during the pandemic, I began to attend the online events of the association, the national and also the local events. And it was then that I meet Donatella Davoli, the former president of Reggio Modena chapter. And also at that time, I meet Paola Ligabue, Nadia, Elisa, and many others. And they were all so inspiring that I decided to join the association myself. I felt more than welcomed, and I experienced a strong sense of belonging, and I felt like, I was surrounded by friends and not only by colleagues. And the positive energy and the good vibes were, I felt like I belong, to this group of amazing ladies. So what I discovered exceeded all my expectation. The association is not only, a vibrant network of strong, passionate, and highly skilled women from various sectors, but all of them are driven by similar goals, and they are really doers. So they they talk quite less, but they're doing a lot. Not only in my chapter that I call it the best chapter, Reggio and Adriana is here. And yeah, the fact that I discovered that EWMD is an international association resonated deeply with me, given my international background. After that, I meet the ladies from Reggio Modena. I've met the international board in 2021, and I've met Bia, Nadine, Birgit, and Paola. All of them were just amazing because supported me so much, both professionally and personally. And yeah, life started to be a bit easier, when you have a support network and you find your tribe. But yeah, I want to tell that it's not all about work. We also know how to have a lot of fun. So we share storying, we enjoy each other company, and there is always a joyful spirit in our gathering. One of my best memories is the learning journey in Sicily. It was a truly memorable experience. And you, Adrian, you were part of that. I think that you remember. So looking ahead, my wish for EWMD is to continue growing and supporting women across various spheres of society. And I hope we can keep inspiring and empowering each other, breaking the barriers and providing a safe space for all women. So I hope that we can continue to nurture our community, to foster connection and creating opportunities. And I think that together we can drive meaningful change and make a lasting impact. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it gives you a glimpse of the wonderful journey I've had with EWMD and the incredible ladies I've had the privilege to meet, and I really feel very lucky.
Thank you, Mihaela, for the insights to your EWMD story. They're all different, but yet they have common grounds, they have common values, and the connection is, I think, always feelable between not only the five of us who participated here in the podcast today, but all the women that participate in EWMD. And I think if we want to make our network grow, the best advertisement is us talking about the network, because that attracts the people. It's authentic. It's authentic the way we speak about it, because we feel it, and that will attract more women who want to have a fun tribe, have experienced sisterhood, and maybe need help at a certain point, or want to contribute to a bigger goal. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining the EWMD podcast. She Did It, 40 years, 40 stories. It was lovely having you here. And for the listeners, there is a next episode coming up, which will be in July, recorded on the 5th of July and published end of July. It will be a German episode with a great mix of people from Germany, and the next English episode will come out at the end of August again, where we will have we have somebody from New York, somebody from Turkey, somebody from Bavaria, Germany, and from California and from Italy. So it's going to be a mixed crowd again in August.